We're going to learn how to make that apple fall at a variable speed. And I'm going to show you one way that isn't quite working, and then the way that I think it should probably work, which is tricky. So you might recall in the last video when we were making in the last several videos, when we were making the fruit drop from top to bottom, that we did this repeat loop 34 times of moving down 10 steps. And that's a pretty even speed because every time it went through the loop, it went down 10 steps. So the speed didn't change at all. I took that out of the code and instead I put in a glide, and a glide will go from point A to point B. So you can tell it the XY coordinates of where it you can tell it how much time it's going to take and the XY coordinates of where it's going to stop. So it will start wherever it is and it'll stop where you tell it to. So I took out the pick random from 1 to 3 to make it a random glide time, right? How many seconds will it glide? It's random from 1 to 3 seconds. So that'll change the speed, it'll make it variable. I want it to stay in the X position that it's in because recall that we're giving it a random X position at the top. And then I want it to go all the way down to 170 where it's going to touch the edge because we're testing whether or not it's touching the edge. Now, in our other code, we had this testing for touching the bowl and touching the edge right here in our repeat loop. I think one was inside and one was after. I have to change that here because we do want it to be continually testing because this glide will complete, right? When it's executing the code, it's going to get down to that glide statement and it's not going to move to the next line until after it's finished gliding. And that is not what we want because by the time it gets to negative 170, it will always be touching the bottom and it might or might not also be touching the bowl, neither of which is helpful. You'll just rack up negative points. As you can see, the last time I did it, I racked up negative 374 points before I even stopped it. So what I did was I took those two pieces out, put them in a forever loop with its own green flag clicked. So my one green flag clicked here does everything that we've talked about, and the second one checks to see if it's touching the bowl or touching the edge. This is not perfect. I'm not in love with it, but let's take a look. So I got 1 point and then I got negative 123 and then I got 1 point and lost more. So you can see this is not really working because as it's going, so I'm at 353. I want it to touch. Does it go to 354 negative? No, it went to 355 negative. So definitely not ideal. I did even try setting that Y to 160 to send it to the top where it would no longer be touching the edge, and that is not helping. So what I'm going to do is kind of abandon this approach for now. Might be able to come back later and fix it, but I'm just going to disconnect those to have them not execute when I run my code. I'm going to reconnect my original code here. And I want to make a variable. This is what I want to do. I want to make a variable. I think I'm going to call it steps. And keep in mind that steps, the fewer steps you make, the slower it will go. And the more steps you make, the faster it will go. If that makes sense. And for all sprites or for this sprite, I think I'm going to make it for this sprite only because when I make others fruits, I want them to have a different speed. So I have my steps. I'm going to set, let's think about this. Where do I want to set my steps? So not points, but steps. I think right here, before I go into this repeat loop, Although, boy, we're going to have to do some math here too. This is okay. I like math. Remember, I'm a math teacher. So I'm going to set my steps to a random number from 5. We've been doing 10. We can go faster than 10. So 30 will be fast, 5 will be slow. So I'm going to set steps to a random number from 5 to 30. And then I'm going to move steps, right? So whatever that random number is from 5 to 30, that's how many steps I'm going to move. But now it's not 34, right? Because 34, if you're only going 5 steps at a time, isn't going to bring you to the bottom. So now we need to do some more math, which is our operations. And I want to divide. I want to remember it's 340 divided by the number of steps, whatever that is. And it will probably round it. Let's find out if it gives us an error for not being, whoops, I misgrabbed it, for not being the whole thing. So we're going to do 340 divided by the number of steps. And I'm kind of curious. Let's show the steps just so that we can see it. That went pretty fast, and I lost a point. 11, 8, 7. Ooh, that one went very fast, and I totally missed it. That seems to be working, and I'm only losing 1 point when I miss it, which is good, which is what I wanted. Remember that losing a point worked in the other code, and now I think this is too fast for me, honestly. I think that I need to change random from 5 to, we were doing 10 before. Let's do 20. Dang, this game wasn't very beatable. At any point, it is working, right? Now we have a variable speed for our apple to drop. Ooh, I was in the right spot to catch the fast one. And let's lose a point by missing. There we go. So it works. There's our variable speed. This is the one I prefer. And I hope that helps. Happy coding.